Hey, we're live. And we know that because we get this big thing across the screen that says, "You are live." I'm joined by Tom Reed in Columbus, Alex Stumpf in Pittsburgh. I'm Dejan Kovacevic in, where the hell am I? Looks like Long Island out there. How can you tell, right? What's going on, guys?
Not much. It's all about those Penguins right now. It's you survived the slugfest last night. Were you ever thought about being tossed into the ring there in the third period? That's what it kind of looked like.
Well, if you know, there was a lot of that going on, and there was a lot of referees not raising their right arms going on as well, which didn't exactly help any of the process here. But what was the most impressive by far was that the Penguins just stayed like this. You know, like you can get all bloodthirsty, you can try to run us through the glass, but one way or another, we're going to end up scoring the last goal in this game. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, they I liked how they stood up for themselves. You take one little thing. Gensel probably let his emotions a little run high on slashing. I think it was Palmieri on the way to the box. Other than that, I liked the way that they stood up for themselves. Your column today, just talking about showing toughness. That's how you show toughness. You don't drop gloves and fight Matt Martin. That's stupid. But I thought that they gave as good as they took last night. And that was an impressive win in a game where things could have really gone sideways after the Islanders made their push.
Oh, yeah. All right, here, we're about to get ready with the official portion of this. Okay. Well, hello and welcome to the Mike's Beer Bar Afternoon Ask Anything, brought to you by, not coincidentally, Mike's Beer Bar, which is located directly opposite Federal Street from PNC Park. Alex, what do you have to say about Mike's Beer Bar?
Oh, go there. Go there. And the North Shore Tavern. They got the Kobe
sounds like a slogan. Oh, go there.
I'm going to get that just tattooed right up here. See what happens. But yeah, go there. They got the 80 taps to go through, over 500 beers to pick from. If you go, a couple doors down, you can get Kobe beef on a stone, cook it yourself. A lot of good stuff to get.
Tom, we need to get you out here to, not here
I know.
to Long Island, out to Pittsburgh to Mike's Beer Bar.
I know. Well, I'm looking forward to hopefully here when locker rooms start opening up again, and I can't wait. As you know, I have relatives in the Berg where I can stay, and I am definitely looking forward to going to Mike's Beer Bar. I miss when you guys had those shows there, so I'm definitely going.
Alex and Carter missed when we had those shows there as well. They were taken care of.
Those were the days.
Ed Vidra gets us started today with "Hello, DK Crew. Pens looked good in the brawl. Can they keep this up?" I mean, the brawl was the brawl, and it wasn't really even that much of a brawl. Normally when you have I actually started typing the term line brawl onto my screen when I was describing the caption that's atop the photo on the column. And I thought, oh, that's not really a line brawl. I mean, everybody from both lines got thrown into the box, but nobody ever really dropped the gloves and started going at it. It's not a line brawl.
It's weird. It is weird. It was very weird to see five guys in the box at the same time. It looked like some fraternity initiation. Those guys could just crammed in there like that. And unfortunately for the Penguins, they had all their skilled guys in there. They ended up having to kill a penalty, and both of their defensemen, who you would definitely have on the ice in there, were in the box, and the Islanders scored at that point. But as we talked about in the soft opening, if that's the term you're using, I thought for the most part the Penguins really, really stood up for themselves and did it where it counted. With getting out of there with a 5-4 win.
They got the goals. They got the goals. Paul says with the rumors of Cole Tucker being called up, I don't think they're really rumors at this point. Alex, you've reported this, right? Okay. What move did the Pirates make to make room for him? Okay. Can I answer this one first?
Go.
Who cares?
Kind of.
No, I mean, really, with a fringe of this active roster right now, why would that be? Let's talk about Cole Tucker. Go ahead, Alex, but you can answer Paul's actual question.
I'll give Paul an actual answer here, then I'm going to hand the ball off to DK. We don't know yet, but Trevor Cahill, he's probably going to be hitting the IL at some point. Tom has been out of the lineup the last couple of days. Maybe an IL trip there. Maybe they get rid of Vargas, even though they just claimed him. Who knows? DK, go for it.
Well, I stand by my original stance. In addition to who cares, though, I also feel compelled to point out that Cole Tucker had, was it a single, double, and a triple?
Yeah.
Last night, 3 for 5. Now, this tells you, maybe more than anything, how badly the Pirates have wanted Cole Tucker to succeed. You know? I mean, he's been down, that he spent extra time in Bradenton. It was just kind of a strange situation to become a better hitter than he's been. There's all kinds of issues with his swing. He does this like rocking thing that I can't really explain even here in this hotel room, rocking back and forth. But he needs to hit. We all love him. We all want him to do well. I mean, he's just a tremendous kid. But he's got to be able to hit. Let's see what we got next here. Brian Gulish says, this might be a terrible take, but do the Penguins have better chemistry with Malkin not in the lineup? What do you think of their chemistry last night, Brian? I mean, wow. And what did you think of how Gino fit in last night? I mean, to me, Malkin fit right in, and I don't know that he was anywhere near 100%, but he focused on defending first, which was impressive to me. Had a couple of blocked shots. Gino, one of them was dropping down to his knee. Took care of business in his own end. The line wasn't effective, and I know Jason Zucker had the goal and everything, but the line spent too much time in their own zone. But yeah, Brian, I'm not going to go so far as to say terrible take because it's not uncommon, but yeah.
I thought the pass that he made to set up Carter's second goal, that
Beautiful.
Little. Just, I mean, not many players can even think of doing that. That's just not a play you normally see, and that's what you get back with a player of that caliber.
Yeah, he's a left point man. Think about that. He's a left point man, and he's sliding forward, and he knows the Islanders are all going aggressive on the PK. He slides forward, draws both of the Islanders to him, and just goes, oop, right inside to Carter, and Carter's like, whoa, this guy's good.
Yeah.
I probably should score here.
Yep.
Let's see. Brian concedes then. Like I said, terrible. We'll see how it plays out in the long term. Don't be so hard on yourself. Sherrod has a question for Alex. Says, suppose you had the power of Doctor Strange, Marvel character, and the Archer trade, the Chris Archer trade never happened. Would the Pirates be better off today? Would Clint Hurdle, Neil Huntington, Frank Coonley still be employed, dragging this organization through the mud?
I'm not sure about Hurdle. Hurdle kind of lost the clubhouse towards the end of it, and I think there was a real change that was going to happen regardless at the end of the 2019 season, with or without Archer. I mean, unless, Chris Archer forces them to get a better pitcher, and that better pitcher, makes a significant impact on that team. But I don't know if Huntington gets fired. Probably not. I mean, that was kind of the backbreaker. Bob Nutting said to DK and me, letting go of these players that we were supposed to have for years and see him succeed elsewhere really rubbed him the wrong way, which you can't blame him for.
No, Ron says he just wanted to jump in and say that he's liked the Penguins coverage at our site. Says it's been phenomenal. Column today got him all fired up, all capital letters from Ron. I'm just grateful that you read it, Ron. Even if you would have hated it, I'm grateful that you read it. That's just kind of how the process goes, And thank you. I didn't mean to leave out the thank you part. Let's see here. Levi says, how do you think Kevin Newman can become better throughout the season? Well, he can find a way to hit the ball hard. Alex, I brought Kevin Newman up in the podcast today and had a listener come back at me and say that, because I praised Kevin Newman's 2019 season, which to the surface metrics, looked like it was every bit as good as Brian Reynolds' season. And then a commenter comes back and says that he didn't hit the ball all that hard in 2019 either. Is that accurate?
He didn't for the first half of the year, and then for the second half of the year, the results matched the batted ball data, which is what suckered me in, where it's like, okay, he was still finding his footing. He was a rookie for half the year. But as the season went on, he found his way. He put more consistent swings together. Okay, this is someone you can build with. And he just hasn't been able to find that ever since. Like, even in spring training, there were at least some hard hit balls. I thought, him moving the hands down, that might make an impact for him, but nothing's really working for him this year.
I really like the guy. I hope he does well. It just, and especially after the spring training that he had, and I know he wasn't exactly creaming the ball down there either, but, when you hit 633, you're hitting something.
No, he probably should have hit like 400 something, which, oh man, what a travesty.
Yeah, right. Carnation says, "Hi guys, do you think if the Penguins still had Patrick Hornqvist, it would make a difference in front of the net?" Tom, you've seen the difference that Hornqvist has made in Sunrise. He had another big goal last night. The Panthers, crazy comeback.
Yeah.
Over the Lightning. Did not see that coming. What a fun series that's been. That aside, Hornqvist, I'm not sure exactly what you'd want him to do that you haven't seen done. I guess that's the first response that I have there. The Penguins are still getting something of a net front presence. It's just not a static net front presence. You know what I mean? You don't have somebody parking themselves there the way Hornqvist did, but they are getting through there. I mean, Jeff Carter, he made his way to the net and he scored, and it was a power play, and it was an enormous goal.
Yeah, it's you know what, and I've been so impressed. Although this Gensel's not had a great start to this series, but how he floats, and Crosby's good at this too, floating in and out in front of those and deflecting pucks onto the net.
Yeah,
is really effective as opposed to just having a guy stand there and bat pucks in. And look, the Islanders are missing that guy too, right? Anders Lee. I mean, their power play they got one last night, but it has been horrible. And that guy is a huge piece missing.
Literally.
Oh,
yeah.
He's such a good player. But yeah, it's a different power play look. But again, the Penguins got a big one last night. And you just can't say enough about the way Carter's playing right now. And my goodness, the face-offs last night, 70% on the dots, so many late face-offs he took in his own zone. What an absolutely fabulous game by him last night.
Here's a related question here that comes from D. Klein, who says, is there any chance that Jeff Carter will replace Gensel or Rust on the number one power play? Better size for goal front battles. This is now 2 in a row, and I'm not seeing this issue, but I am seeing that Jeff Carter is scoring pretty much almost at will at this point. And then I see the play that they made last night, and you got to think about it. I know with Mike Sullivan that PP1 has been sacred. He has his guys that are out there, but you got to put the people out there that are going to produce. And Jake, in fairness, is getting thrashed. Every chance they get, it's like whack-a-mole. Like they see Jake and they just,
Well, it's worked. Unfortunately for the Penguins fans, it's worked to this point because he really hasn't had an impact on the series. And Russ, of course, had the goal in Game 2. To me, Crosby has been terrific even without the wingers. But yeah, they need. It's weird to say this right now, but they need a little bit more from their first line, particularly on the wings. But yeah, that power play and Jeff Carter he just can't miss right now.
Here's a good technical question from Josh, who asks, can you all explain options? Like when Miguel Yajure gets optioned back, meaning to Indy, does he lose one of his 3 options? I have to answer this one like about 1,000 times a year. So I'm going to throw this one to Alex because it's not – you burn one, you burn them all.
It's complicated. If you're in the
Yeah.
minor leagues for more than 20 days, you burn an option year. So you could actually option the guy like 8-9 times over the course of the year if you so choose, and it counts as only one option year. You can't option a guy once he reaches 5 years of service time. It's awkward. So this whole year, no matter how many times the Pirates bring up Yehuri, it's only going to count as one of his option years. He's almost certainly going to be part of the 2022 rotation, and at that point, it's just not going to matter anymore for options. He's just going to be here from now on.
Tim wants to know what the Pirates are doing at shortstop once Ke'Bryan Hayes comes back. Let's see Ke'Bryan Hayes back. I just like saying his name. You know, I mean, it's been since the second game since we've been able to do that. He got everyone rightly really excited about who he is last season, and then all he does is walk out onto Wrigley Field and hits this 450-foot bomb in his first at bat, and you're like, this is going to be incredible. And then he's just gone, you know? And people act like it's nothing, too. Like, it's just like, look at the Pirates lineup today. The Pirates lineup stinks. Pirates lineup would not stink if it had Ke'Bryan Hayes and Colin Moran in it.
That bottom half is still kind of rough.
It'd be horrible.
It'd be a whole lot deeper. A lot deeper. But, yeah, in terms of, like, the shortstop question, Pirates aren't going to bring up Cole Tucker unless they feel like he can play every day at some position. So either this is a quick cameo, he's going to go back to Indianapolis for a bit, or maybe he could be in that shortstop competition going forward. Shelton never did 100% officially name Newman, the starting shortstop for the entire season. It was always going to be a competition there. Newman just was the guy who had the job coming out of spring training, and neither he or Gonzalez have really done a whole lot at the bat to prove that they earn the job.
Kyle takes issue with our stance from earlier about Malkin and messing up the chemistry. And I'm going to read what Kyle has here. He says, I don't agree. I think that Freddie Gaudreau adds a dimension to Jeff Carter's line that shouldn't be taken away. And I thought that without Malkin on the power play, Carter doesn't get set up. Malkin is not a passenger. No, he's not. If he was playing on one leg last night and produced 2 assists in a game like that, he is what he is. That's a special individual there. Michael Nesbitt also is pleading for the return of Ke'Bryan Hayes. Sean Jameson says, why do they even bother starting Trevor Cahill anymore? Meaning the Pirates, can't they just move on from him already? Alex?
Sean, I'm going to give you 2 options here. One is just give the job to Yehuri, or once, Cole and everyone gets back, keep Crow in the rotation. Or B, give him an opener, see if that actually can do something. Artificially lower that ERA a bit and see if you can get a prospect for him at the trade deadline. What they're doing right now is just not working. Something's got to change.
Oh, you're not gonna get anything for Trevor Cahill.
He has a
although
really
they got
good
something
ERA
for
outside of the first. Yeah,
they got something for Gerard Dyson, so I shouldn't say that. If it's 5 starters, I've got Mitch Keller, JT Brubaker, Will Crow, Miguel Yehuri, and then when Tyler Anderson does get traded, and you will get something for him, ride Steven Brault out the rest of the season. There's 5 starters. Yeah.
Nothing controversial about that in my eyes.
Now, let's see what else we have here. Looking for...
You can't trade players for international bonus money this year. Go, Josh. Sorry.
Sherrod says he was in Harrisburg for 2 games so far watching the Altoona team. Roansy Contreras and many others really could be in Indianapolis. You're preaching to the choir when you're saying that to Alex. He's been pounding the desk over Contreras being in Indy for a while now. Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of a, once there's an opening, it's got to be either him or Kranick who takes that next spot up. I mean, there's a little more familiarity with Kranick and someone who I'm also very high on. He's got to pitch tonight if you're going to be still in Harrisburg there. But yeah, I think Contreras does have a legitimate shot of being a September call-up once he does get that call to Indianapolis. If he does well there, maybe not like a big, long look, but someone gets a start or 2 in September, see what his stuff does in the majors, something to build off for 2022.
Michael says, are we finally okay as a city of Yinzers with saying that Jeff Carter is not a bust? Shades of Kessel on expectations versus reality. Who thought he was a bust?
I don't know. I think there were some. There
was some skepticism.
I think. Well, I also think that there were people that were concerned that it was going to be. I saw this. I didn't see it anywhere on our site, but people mentioning Marlowe 2.0. They were just so concerned about what happened with Marlowe last year. But boy, Jeff Carter again. I didn't know he would score this much. What I loved about him right away is he shoots the puck on a team that just overpasses a lot. And he's been really good. Hey, you people who don't have anything. I live in Columbus. I watched Jeff Carter come in here and not want to play. They literally had to get on a plane. They literally had to get on a plane to go get him when he got traded here. He was out of here in 4 months. Every time I tweet how good Jeff Carter is playing, all my mentions are just, it's brutal right now. So
I'm sure. Well, one thing about Jeff Carter, and I'm the last thing I'm going to do is be a downer here about how great he's been, but he has played 17 games in a Pittsburgh sweater, and he has scored 12 goals. This will not hold up, okay, unless Jeff Carter has suddenly morphed into an 80-goal guy, okay? It's not going to happen. However, what he's done has been very uplifting for everybody. I also think, though, here's my other little downer comment. His line mates, and you're right, Tom, it's great to see somebody gunning it, okay? But his line mates are now just totally deferring to him. Have you seen that? And Jared McCann was scoring a lot before. Now he's just like, where's Jeff? Where's Jeff? This dude scored all the goals. It's like feeding the hot shooter in basketball. You don't. Where is he? Where is he? Here, you shoot it.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Here's the thing, and I always talk about this. I don't care if he doesn't score or not. If he gets it on goal, there's a chance for a rebound. That's what I loved about last night's game so much. From if I was a Penguins fan, I loved how it was. There was no pretty plays. Everything was hard to the net. Get shots on the net. Letang's goal. Get the puck. Get it to the net. Get it through traffic. A couple of really nice goals from Carter. Tanev. I mean, what are you going to say? I mean, what a play, and just what patience to let that puck come down and score the winning goal. But I just like the way they played last night. I like the way they attacked the net.
I just got to tell you one other thing about Carter before we move on. The press box at Nassau Coliseum is like I know you're shaking your head because you've been there, but I'm just talking about the perspective, not the elbow room. We're up close to the one net. Okay, so I'm watching the far net as Carter's going down on that 2-on-1. This is for his first goal. Okay, right after New York had scored and the place was all happy and everything. And I'm looking at the amount of net that he's got to shoot at. As you could see it. It's like when you're covering football from an end zone. You know what I'm talking about? You just see the game the way it's actually played. And I'm looking at that net and I'm going, he's got nothing. Varlamov is so totally on this ankle. He's got nothing. Second thought, he's so shooting anyway. And then he just crushes that shot. I mean, just it wasn't that he found it. It wasn't that he placed it. It was that he located. He crushed it. All right, I'm moving on here. What a moment that was. Hey, gents, Sam Lafferty, speed, big, stood up to Tom Wilson. Any chance for him to play? I'm running out of patience for these thuggery calls for thuggery here. Sam's not a thuggery guy, okay? But the Penguins got done what they needed to get done. It's okay. You don't have to go and exact revenge on everyone. You just don't. Let's see what we got here. But there is that mentality still in hockey. Well, we didn't get that guy back, you know?
Yeah. They're playing it the right way. That's they just move. That's not their game. and they shouldn't be involved in that game. There's nothing wrong with standing up for yourselves, pushing back, defending teammates, but there's no reason to no reason to feed into that. None.
Michael Nesbitt says, Chad cool? That's his entire question, which is kind of mine as well. Like, what do you do with him when he comes back? I'm not throwing him right back in the rotation. Are you?
It's a good question. I've heard that a lot of other teams are like, this guy's a long reliever, probably would have a better trade market as a bullpen guy, but the Pirates aren't going to throw away a potential starter right now. I mean,
Is he, though? I mean, he can't survive a first inning.
Give him an opener, too.
Yeah, well, I'm not handing a crutch to every starter who struggles with a first inning.
Give it to, well, if they're good every other inning, why not?
Well, because then the second inning would be his first inning, and then he's stuck in the second inning.
He's figuring things out against the bottom of the lineup instead of 1, 2, 3. There's only one time in a baseball game you are guaranteed to face the 1, 2, and 3 hitters, and that is in the top of the first. Why not put out one of your better relievers for that?
Clint Novak says Gino blocking shots on one leg, Sid making game-saving saves. This team seems fully committed in ways that they weren't the last few seasons. Well, let's draw a line there. It's not like Sid and Gino and Letang and Jake Gensel and Brian Rust and Brian Dumoulin and the other 2-time champions and some 3-time champions all of a sudden found their playoff mojo. Okay, you do need a supporting cast in order to win a championship or just to succeed in the playoffs. If you look over the Penguins' goals last night, no Sid, no Gino, no Jake, no Rust. Who got those goals? Like Tom said, it was a bunch of greasy goals. It was other guys. It was getting the puck to the net. It was that kind of game. If the Islanders lose their marbles and decide for game 4 over here across the lot that they're going to try to let's skate with these guys, well, then you'll see the Penguins will come at them differently, and the Penguins will outskate them and score pretty much as often as they want against either Semyon Varlamov or Ilya Sorokin. This team didn't rediscover its moxie from the core. It rediscovered it by putting together a faster and maybe a little bit tougher supporting cast. And I'm using tough in the Mike Sullivan context here. Richard Deal says, any idea why so many baseball teams have so many injuries this year? It's kind of crazy when a lot of teams have more than 10 people on the injury list, and it's not just the Pirates. I mean, Alex, they didn't play baseball last year. At least not much. That's it. Yeah. You got to play.
Only that, you couldn't condition like you normally could during a regular off season. Like, gyms were closed. Like, it's just a byproduct of it, and we're seeing it across the league, like Richard said, especially with pitchers.
Yeah, I was going to say it's especially with pitchers, but it's not just pitchers.
Yeah, a lot of groin pulls, a lot of hamstring injuries. Pirates have got a couple guys on the IL right now with that.
Yeah, you hate to see those because those are preventable.
In a normal season, yeah, but like this, it's kind of do what you can. It stinks.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see what else we got here. While I look through this, Mike's Beer Bar and North Shore Tavern are right next to each other across Federal Street from PNC Park. They're actually owned by the same man, Mike Sukic, and they use the same kitchen. It's a lot of the same people. Same quality. Let's put it this way. If you've been to one, you can expect the same quality at the other. Although to get steak on a stone, you have to go to North Shore Tavern.
For the Kobe, I've gotten steak on a stone at Mike's.
Have you really now? You're that special?
I might be. I don't know. You like me.
Hey, I just to let you know, I knew I was going to be on with 2 baseball writers today, so I wore a minor league baseball shirt. This is just for you guys.
What is it?
It's the Montgomery, Alabama Biscuits. I think they're a AA team. So I'm like, I'm on with 2 baseball minds. I'm going to pay tribute.
Josh chimes in with, I can confirm, Mike's Beer Bar is awesome. I went there on my trip to Pittsburgh because of y'all. Highly recommend. This is the second time Josh has dropped a y'all on us. I just want that on the record somewhere.
Where's he from?
I don't know, but we're going to have to ask him that and see if he gets back to us. Where are you from, Josh? Where are you dropping these y'alls from? Kevin Kramer says, in super slow-mo, Carter's shot was actually blurry. It was so heavy. Heavy's a great word for his shot. Isn't it, Tom? Like,
yeah.
I mean, it's just, he's a big dude and puts everything he has behind it. You know what I mean? Heavy is a great word for it.
But you know what? What I've always, he doesn't have a big windup. He must have really strong wrists. I mean, it's not like Ovechkin or somebody like that who just takes this massive windup to get that result. He must have really strong arms.
Well, he had that when he was a kid in Philadelphia.
He's always been a great shooter.
He's always been able to shoot. It's kind of like those 4 months that he spent in Columbus, Tom. Like I remember very vividly his time with the Blue Jackets.
Yep. And he went to Los Angeles, and the Blue Jackets got Jack Johnson, who then they passed on to the Penguins.
Passed on to the social media denizens of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, is where they passed on Jack Johnson. Josh comes back to us and says he's from Jacksonville, Florida, but he lives in Nashville, and his family's from Butler.
There you go.
And Rick chimes in with there's no y'all in the Berg. You know, I'll occasionally hear a y'all.
Really?
No. I mean, meaning that's more from the African American population. You'll hear a y'all.
Oh, okay. All right.
And that's 25% of our city. So I count that.
I still don't know what you guys are saying half the time, and I've been married to one for 28 years. So there's still times my wife throws words out there that I have no idea what she's talking about.
Yeah, Paul says, I'm guessing Carter will be back with the Penguins next season. Yeah, he actually has
a contract.
He has another year on the contract, so there's no question about that. Let's say we're going to have time we can do 2 more here. We didn't get a single football question all day. Like, I'm taking that personally. You think just because Carter's not here, like, that we can't handle football? Like, what's that all about? Seriously, now I'm going to insist on it. Somebody send us a football question, or you're going to be stuck with us all day. Rick says, hey, guys, your take on all the no-hitters already this season. Oh, geez. Lack of the ability for hitters to work out, or the extreme of the homer strikeout mentality? Alex, that's all yours.
Well, first of all, I think it's ridiculous that someone throws a no-hitter and the immediate reaction now is, oh, wow, another one. Because, first of all, how many people have actually watched a no-hitter start to finish this year? Because it's been the same 3 teams that have been snake-bitten twice. So not a whole lot. A good portion of the population hasn't. Second, it's an incredible feat. I don't care what happens. If you send Roger Clemens in his prime down to Double-A and he threw a no-hitter, that would still be an incredible game pitched. All that said, why it's actually happening, I don't think that it's the baseball. A lot of people are saying, oh, you know, now that people are hitting balls that are 2 feet shorter, we're having all these no-hitters. Like, okay, we were going to have all these one-hitters with a solo home run throw in there. No, it is obvious the pitchers are ahead of the hitters right now. It is the year of the pitcher 2.0. Electric Boogaloo, whatever you want to call it. It's definitely a pitching-friendly environment. Enjoy it for 2021 because Major League Baseball sure as hell isn't going to let that stick for 2022.
Kyle comes through with a football question, says, I got one. How many running backs will the Steelers keep after Najee Harris, and who will they be? I mean, the number really gets down to special teams, but the running backs that are on the roster currently are obviously Benny Snell, Anthony McFarland. There's a player they signed. See, we do need Carter. There's some random veteran they signed, and Carter would be yelling at me right now. He's not some random veteran. What are you talking about, DK? But it doesn't matter. Najee Harris is getting the ball. Is that fair?
Did you not just ask for a football question? The guy gives you a football question, and you're waving him off after Harris?
I did hear. Oh, no, actually, he comes through. Kyle comes through and says it's Kalen Ballage. See, this is what I mean. It's Carter's
burner. It's Carter's burner.
That's right. Oh, now everybody's coming through. Oh, it's Ballage. It's Ballage. Okay, great. At least we know they're watching. Kevin Kramer comes through with another question. Says, do you think James Washington will get more snaps this season? Why doesn't he see more field time? This is a subject that's near and dear to my heart, and I will take this one because I see 4, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4 wide receivers that should be on the field for the Steelers offense more often than not. If you have Deontay Johnson, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Chase Claypool out there, there's no reason not to have an additional threat with James Washington, especially if you are being serious about opening up the field, beyond 5 yards. They have to get back to throwing the ball down there. You need the occasional prayer, the toss-up, the pass interference, the combat catch. James Washington is your guy for all of that. James Washington is a trusted weapon of Ben Roethlisberger, and Ben needs to go back to trusting his offensive line so that he can trust his time that he has to throw deep. There, football question, football answer. I appreciate everyone's time today, including that of Tom Reed and Alex Stumpf, everybody who was on the call. We'll have another afternoon Ask Anything next Monday, and we'll put Carter on. That's what we'll do, so that he knows who Kalen Ballage is without having anybody else chime in. Thanks for watching.